You're listening to Montreal Now on CJAD 800.
That's James Mennie over at the Montreal Gazette, Jim. I just, what Lori just said there. Did you hear her?
Yeah.
Okay. So right at the end when she kind of got confused, she said, this is the wonderful thing about living in Quebec, right? You're confused, you do the whole thing in English, and then when she was kind of getting lost there, she said, voyons.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we do.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
what we do.
And it's fascinating because we all of us seem to have, I don't care what your position is on language. Yeah. If you're from these parts, I routinely swear in French, and there are times, once again, voyons, and some other things I can't say on the radio, even on an English language radio station. But yeah, it's part and parcel of what makes our nation great, Aaron.
Gotta love it. All right, so something you don't gotta love. We're finding out today. Eric Girard, who gleefully shook the hand of Luc Robitaille when he said, "Hey, the LA Kings are coming to Quebec City. This is great news, and it's only going to cost us about $7.5 million bucks." And then today we find out, hey, the LA Kings are also going to be playing in Salt Lake City, Utah, for an exhibition game. And how much are they spending there, Jim?
Well, they're spending absolutely nothing. And here's the great thing about it: whereas you have Eric Girard, who's a big fan of Luc Robitaille and handing out checks, there's a guy named Mark Powell, who's the VP of Special Events down at Salt Lake City, in Salt Lake City, Utah, in their venue, in their arena. And the thing is, he landed precisely the same deal, except nobody had to pay, by simply cold calling Luc Robitaille, selling him on the idea, and the rest is, as they say, history. And what's crazy here was, I'm sure there might be some fees that might be covered while they're there, but the fact of the matter is the public are not paying for it. And I think, first of all, it's another example of how not just this government, but Quebec governments in general, as long as I've been in this game, they try way too hard. You know what I mean? Like they try too hard. Like they spend too much on everything, and they try to land something, and they make it sound like it's do or die. And the fact of the matter is, it isn't. And in fact, what's happened here is they are now on the verge of tabling a budget. The local government's going to table a budget next month where they're going to plead poor on everything except for the $7 million bucks that they could have easily saved if they had not been so starry-eyed about dealing with I guess, the LA Kings and Luc Robitaille. But what I love, did you see the interview today with Éric Duhaime, leader of the Quebec Conservative Party?
No.
Because he said, and it's so funny because we're talking about using French expressions. He said, this is, and I'm translating from the French here, he says, this is another example of how clownish we are being made to look. In fact, we look like a bunch of ticone. Now, ticone was a character in a classic Quebec television series, and ticone basically is like a rube, a yokel, a chump, okay? And I would say if we're looking for the equivalent, remember Ed from Green Acres?
I'm afraid I do, yeah.
At least early Ed, before he got in on the jokes there.
Yes.
Early Ed, this is it. This is what Eric James is saying Quebec is being perceived as in the rest of it. Because apparently it's not just Salt Lake City. There are other venues that we've never even heard of. Yeah, they come in, they don't pay. It's fun because it stimulates an interest in the NHL. And it just is another example of how really out to lunch this government is. And, we can sit here and talk about language and culture and identity, but now, man, it's even the little things. It's organizing a hockey game in Quebec, and they can't even get that right. So, it'll be great fun. I wonder how many questions during the budget lockup will indeed be asked about the $7 million expense that is being thrown at the LA Kings for apparently no reason whatsoever.
By the way, I love the fact, while you were talking about him being basically referred to as a rube by Eric Duhaime, I looked up rube. I think this may be the shortest definition in the dictionary. A rube is simply a country bumpkin.
Yep.
That's what it is, all three of those words. I would ask one thing, Jim, and I don't know why I thought this, but after the whole scandal over this broke, right, and Eric Girard was chastised for spending this money at a time when the last thing we should be doing is wasting this kind of money, I thought at least this might be discussed, but that was never even the case, right?
No.
Just it's going to happen because we want it to happen.
They don't really have, the CAQ doesn't really have a motto per se. I mean, they say continuons. But I think that the CAQ's motto has always been, c'est nous la bosse. That's it. And you know what? And we're the CAC, you're not.
Yeah.
And we'll spend your money however we like. We may give some of it back to you, or we'll give it to the NHL franchise that needs it like a hole in the head. But once again, this is the thing. We can, roll our eyes and do whatever. But I got to tell you, Aaron, it's stuff like this that is going to stick to this government like glue. All the other stuff that we have blown blood vessels over, maybe not so much, but something like this, something as demonstrably, jaw-droppingly stupid as this is something that's going to be hanging around Francois Legault's shoulders for some time to come.
Hey, Jim, speaking of jaw-droppingly stupid, anything from the CAC today on Olympic Stadium? Any new documents turned over to prove what it's going to generate?
No, I have not seen anything new on it, other than I guess they're chugging ahead as relentlessly as they are with the LA Kings exhibition game. Although, you know what, Aaron? I don't know. I think I mentioned this earlier about a lot of other things. I still get the feeling that something's percolating. I get the feeling that there's a lot of stress that we can't see that's going on right now, and the bottom is going to drop out of a lot of things very quickly, and not that far away in the future either. I think we're seeing a situation now where it's really dawning on the CAC. The way it dawned on us last week, we're stuck with these guys for 2 years. They're stuck with this situation of being increasingly reviled, of being increasingly ridiculed for 2 years. I wonder if they've got the gumption to sit through that for that long.
All right. Well, speaking of governments, let's move from provincial to federal. The news, I don't know, could it get worse for Justin Trudeau? Another poll out?
When does it stop being a poll and start being normal? It's funny because it's an Abacus poll, and there's nothing earth-shattering. Yes, the Conservatives continue to lead by 17 points of the Liberals. They're polling at 41. Liberals are down there at 24%. The only place the Liberals are not being beaten by the Conservatives in Canada is in Quebec, and that's only because they're being beaten by the Bloc Québécois. But I'm wondering at this point, and as they rather routinely point out, it's been 644 straight days that the Conservatives have led the Liberals in Abacus data polling. I wonder how long it's going to be that it won't matter what anybody says, what anybody does. I know people say, oh, no, don't understate Justin Trudeau. Always got plenty of tricks up his sleeve. How long is it going to take until this is it's completely normal? Like no one's going to, anything that anyone says to promote the Liberal cause is even without Trudeau. It's just going to be white noise for a lot of people out there simply because they are, how can I put it, ideologically exhausted. And like this is, they figured, okay, you know what, just vote for the guy and get this over with because I can't take the status quo. And I know it sounds terrible, and I know it sounds simplistic, but guess what? Governments have been elected and fallen on less.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Jim, we're out of time. I'm going to ask a question. I was curious. I asked this at the top of the show, and I want to do it again because there were some really interesting takes on this. Eric Duham, in the interview that we did on Friday, actually used the expression, he said, everything in Quebec is broken.
Yeah.
I know that's the headline in the paper as well.
Uh-huh.
What'd you think?
Has he been having long, chatty conversations on the party line with Pierre Poilievre? Because I've heard that line before, as have we all. Pierre Poilievre has been running around for months saying that Canada is broken. And I'm very surprised to see Eric James, who makes no secret of the fact he knows Poilievre, they're buds, is using the same. I think this is the first time I've actually seen, as far as I'm concerned, Eric James make a mistake with a capital M in terms of calling a political situation, because as much as some people will actually grudgingly at least, admire Eric James. A lot of people really loathe Pierre Poilievre in Quebec, and it's a loathing that transcends language, identity, whatever. I'm not really sure he's doing the right thing by even, sort of like semi-cloning himself against his national counterpart.
James Mennie at the Montreal Gazette. Thank you, Jim.
Adamant.